Media literacy is dead, allegedly. At the very least, according to Twitter, it's dead. Media literacy has kind of become a buzzword online, especially when people are talking about games, shows, movies, basically any piece of media where opinions get heated, and everyone suddenly has a PhD in being right. And, almost every time it comes up, someone declares, with full confidence, that media literacy is dead. Usually what they mean is that someone didn't research something enough, missed context, or had an interpretation they don't like. And instead of simply saying that they disagree, they then, instead, jump straight to the conclusion that media literacy is dead simply because they disagree. But that's not what media literacy actually is. Media literacy is the ability to stop and critically analyze media. What it's saying, how it's saying it, and whether or not it's actually credible. It is not a magic spell that instantly makes your opinions correct, and it is definitely not agreeing with me means you're smart, and disagreeing with me means you're illiterate. This comes up a lot in game discussion because there, media literacy quietly turns into, this game is bad because it's bad. Which is an opinion. You're allowed to have it. You don't need a peer-reviewed essay to dislike something. But when someone can't explain why they enjoy the game, it often means they haven't really thought about the parts of it that didn't work for them. And that's fine, but it makes actual discussion impossible. Being media literate doesn't just mean knowing when to fact-check something or sounding smart on the internet. It means slowing down and actually thinking about what you consumed, what worked, what didn't, and why your brain felt like it was going through a cheese grater the entire time. For media literacy to be dead, it would have to be alive in the first place. Individuals can be very media literate. People collectively are not. If you ask, can a human screw in a light bulb? The answer is yes. Someone can. But if you merge all of humanity into one being, you don't get a super genius, you get a creature that somehow argues with itself and is now holding the light bulb upside down. Possibly illegal, definitely unethical. The point is, the existence of bad takes doesn't mean media literacy has declined. It just means humans are still being humans. As long as people exist, some of them are not going to deeply analyze the media they consume. And honestly, a lot of the time whenever someone says that media literacy is dead, what they actually mean is that people don't agree with me and I don't like that. Now, to be fair, there is a real issue of how people handle media they're emotionally attached to. People can absolutely abandon logic whenever it comes to their favorite games or shows. Threatening someone because they didn't like the thing you like is obviously not okay. It sounds absurd, like threatening someone over a book, but let's not pretend that hasn't happened. The internet just makes it worse by giving people the anonymity and confidence of someone who has never faced consequences. When you mix strong emotional attachment with zero self-reflection, you don't get discussion, you get someone yelling into the void because their comfort media was criticized. However, it is still possible to like or dislike something but still acknowledge criticism. There are plenty of games I don't enjoy. For example, I tend to not like sports games that rely on individual player control. I get frustrated whenever friendly AI teammates don't really do what I want to do, and then also I just don't really find a lot of traditional sports very interesting to watch, so playing them feels about the same for me. That doesn't mean that those games are bad, it just means I know why they don't work for me. And again, I didn't like it is a completely valid opinion. The problem starts whenever people start to attack others for having different opinions, especially when they haven't even examined their own opinion. It's like judging someone else's hand in a card game without ever looking at your own cards. You can play blind, but criticizing everyone else while doing it is not helpful in the slightest. If you actually want to talk about a piece of media, like really talk about it, you need to know what you like, what you don't like, and what you think works or fails. You can build a conversation on that. You cannot build a conversation on, I'm right and you're dumb. So no, media literacy isn't dead. If it actually were, we wouldn't even be able to argue about it. And more importantly, it would have had to exist as a universal skill before it could disappear. Not everyone is going to analyze everything deeply, and that's fine, that's just life. But dismissing other people's opinions simply because they exist, and then blaming dead media literacy for your frustration, isn't analysis. It's just being mad. And honestly, the fact that we keep having this argument is probably the best proof that media literacy very much so is still alive. It's uneven, messy, and way louder on the internet than anyone asked for, but it still exists. Other opinions do exist and always will exist, and refusing to acknowledge them and instead yelling at them for having a different opinion isn't constructive and causes a lot of problems. Also, expect a new video soon, and please like or subscribe. I know that's cliche and cringy to say at this point in, 2026, but it would help me a lot, and it also makes sure that you don't miss any of the future stuff that I'm making.